Today, I'm going to tell you about how our beliefs in ourselves or our lack of belief might be trapping us, keeping us trapped in a certain place in life. I'm Leo Babauta of Zen Habits. This is something that I've been helping people with recently, working with them deeply as a coach and in my Fearless Living Academy, which is my membership program where we help people change their lives. If you want to check that out, by the way, it's fearlessliving.zenhabits.net. Come join us. I'm going to be doing a webinar on this topic soon, so I'd love to have you in. But I've been working with people on the idea of self-belief. Now, self-belief is one of those things that we don't even realize is there. We don't look at our belief or lack of belief in ourselves and how we see ourselves, the negative ways we see ourselves and the positive ways. We don't look at that too often because it's just kind of like the water that you swim in, right? You don't even notice that it's there. But because it's unnoticed, it actually has a lot of power. Because we can't see it, we can't do anything about it. And so it has a lot of power and it actually creates the life that we're in. And so if you actually took a look at your self-belief or your lack of self-belief, what you'll notice is it is actually trapping you in the place that you're in. And if you can see that and start to bring awareness to it, you can start to do something about it and start to shift some of the inner ways you see yourself. And that can shift where you are in your life, what happens, the results you're getting, the success that you have, the goals you're hitting, the habits you're changing. Those will shift if you can shift that way you see yourself. And because that is completely self-created, we create the way we believe or see ourselves. That is actually something that can actually shift rapidly. Now, it doesn't always happen rapidly, but it can, because it's completely created. If I am making up that there is a purple dinosaur floating in front of me right now, a tiny little purple dinosaur, I can also make up instead that it's a watermelon, right? If that's the case. Now, that's not the case, but and if I am making up that I am a loser, then I can actually shift that and stop believing that, see myself differently. So it doesn't usually work that way because we hold on to these self-beliefs like they're guardrails, they're our safety mechanisms. And so we hold on to them for dear life, but it is actually possible to instantaneously change your self-belief. So let's talk about this a little bit. I'm going to make it a little bit more concrete because most people don't understand what I'm talking about when I talk about self-belief. Again, because it's invisible. But let's talk about when I started changing my life. So I was in a darker place. This is 2005, and I decided to change my whole life. And one of the things I started changing was smoking, and then running, and then meditating, and then eating healthier, and waking earlier, and getting rid of clutter, and getting out of debt, and losing weight. So I started changing all of these things. But what happened as I started doing this is I started uncovering how I had been looking at myself the whole time. So for example, smoking, right? I smoke when I'm stressed is one thing I figured out. I smoke when I'm stressed. And so every time I got stressed, I'm like, I need a cigarette. And when I stopped smoking, I was like, I need a cigarette. I'm super stressed, right? And the idea is that I need the cigarette as a crutch to deal with my stress. I'm upset about something. My wife is mad at me. I'm not doing good at work. The world is falling apart. I need a cigarette, right? And if you really look at it, what you'll notice is that I have a belief that I can't deal with stress without a cigarette. That is a self-belief. It isn't true. I've proven it for 20 plus years now. I've proven that that's not true. But I believed it was true, and therefore I needed that cigarette. I also had some other beliefs that I need a cigarette to reward myself, to feel good, to enjoy life, to relax. None of those is true, but I believe them to be true. And so once I started proving that wrong, I shifted that belief. I'm like, oh, actually, I can deal with stress by meditating, by some deep breathing exercises, with physical exercise. I can deal with stress in lots of ways by doing, making actionable lists and taking action in my life. So I could deal with stress, and I prove that. And therefore, I have a more robust, resilient view of myself now than I did then. So if you think you can't deal with stress without weed, without alcohol, if you can't enjoy life without alcohol or weed, if you can't enjoy life without junk food or social media or TV or whatever it is you use to comfort yourself, you have a self-belief that you can't deal with the stresses of life without those things. So therefore, you are going to be stuck in that as long as you hold on to that belief. You can start to prove that it's wrong through action, and then the self-belief changes. But until you decide you were ready to change that belief, it won't change, because you're going to be like, I can't. It's just who I am. I need it. Can't do it, right? It's false. Another one, so running and meditation are two other interesting examples. I didn't see myself as a runner. I wanted to be, but I didn't really think I was. A writer was another one. I didn't see myself as someone who could make it on his own as a writer. I could write for other people. I did some freelance writing, but I couldn't make it on my own as a writer, as an author, as a blogger, as a whatever it is. I couldn't do that. That just wasn't how I saw myself. And therefore, I was going to trap myself to working for others and not putting myself out there. I couldn't do that. Are you crazy? Right? I wasn't a runner, so I wasn't going to be running regularly. I was like, this is not me. It feels wrong. And so I would shrink away from that because it felt wrong. It wasn't until I kept going and I proved myself to be a runner and I could do it. And now I prove myself to be a weightlifter and a body weight lifter and all of these other fun things, a hiker. So I see myself in a much wider, more expansive, robust way. A meditator. When I started meditating, I was like, okay, it sounds interesting, but I'm not a meditator. I don't know how to do this, right? I'm not a Zen student. Now I am. I'm a Zen student. I'm a meditator. I believe I can do that. I don't mind not do it every single day, but I definitely feel like I can anytime I want to. And these are just a few examples, but they are true when it comes to relationships. If you see yourself a certain way, I have to behave this way. If you see yourself at work in a certain way, I have to be this way, then you will be trapped to being that. I can't deal with things without this. You'll be trapped to that. And there are, dozens of other examples. So if you wanted to work with me one-on-one on this, come talk to me, coaching.zenhabits.net. But in Fearless Living Academy, my membership program, I am going to be doing a workshop on this, and I'll be going deeper into it. So if you'd like to, ask me some questions, if you'd like to do the workshop with me, come join me. fearlessliving.zenhabits.net. We've got a bunch of courses in there on habit change, on lots of different things. We have a community. We have a monthly challenge called The Practice, and a monthly workshop and accountability and all of these things. If you think, I'm not the kind of person that can do that, that's your self-belief. Change it and come into Fearless Living Academy. You will already see a change as you dive in like that. Okay, my friends, let me know in the comments if you have any ways that you've shifted your self-belief or that you are stuck because of a self-belief. I'd love to hear from you. Give this a thumbs up, help others to find the video. Please subscribe. I'd love to have this regular conversation with you, put out these videos that'll help you on a weekly basis, and share this with others who could use some Zen habits in their life. I am Leo Babauta of Zen Habits. Thanks for watching.